Let me go full screen here. Hello. Welcome. This is the March 2022 workforce training. Every month, we do a workforce training around a particular topic. For the last 3 months, we have been doing game plan your cannabis career. So to kind of kick off that first quarter, we wanted to make sure that folks were prepared and prepped for actually getting jobs in the cannabis space. If you're not familiar with who I am Keisha. I am the CEO of Explore Maryland Cannabis, and I am honored to bring this to you. Actually, publicly this month, as we do at the end of each quarter, we typically release our workforce trainings publicly on our YouTube channel. So if you've never been able to catch us live or catch us via a replay, go ahead and tap in. I've got a bit of a green screen situation happening behind me, but don't worry. Most of the time you will be focused on this particular presentation. As we mentioned, every month or every time we go live, we're using amazing software called StreamYard. So your comments, your questions will show up during this particular presentation. Go ahead and be sure to drop them right at the bottom in the description, and we'll be sure to get to them. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that all of my things are muted on my end, and I'm going to go ahead and get started on this presentation. It shouldn't take any longer than 30 minutes. It was a beautiful day here in Maryland, so I want to make sure that if you are watching this, this is more so your wind down for the end of the night. So let's go ahead and talk about game planning your cannabis career. All right, so first things first, this is the agenda for tonight. Like I mentioned, we do these workforce trainings every month on the second or third Tuesday of every month. We also do weekly workforce emails that go out. So if you're looking to really get tapped into the workforce as it relates to the Maryland Cannabis Ecosystem, be sure to tap in. But tonight we'll be going over who we are, what we do, what an ecosystem means to us. We'll talk about the game plan in 2022. And if there are any questions, we will be sure to answer those. All right, let's go. So first things first, if you are not familiar with Explore Maryland Cannabis, we are a community membership organization that supports the cannabis ecosystem through two avenues: education and access. Our vision is to cultivate an informed and connected cannabis ecosystem here in Maryland. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and bring myself up on the side here. But as you can see, the three particular pictures up front are ways in which we've engaged with the community. We host sunset sessions. Those will be coming back in April. We do different, community engagement ways, and we've got some really great projects coming up. So if you want to stay tapped in, be sure to check out what we've got going on. Like I mentioned, we connect cannabis employees and candidates to resources and opportunities. We host amazing events, which I absolutely love doing because I am a community builder at heart. And we cultivate our communities by developing safe spaces and experiences in cannabis. We want to make sure that people who are entering into the ecosystem have a very solid foundation as to what they want this ecosystem to look like for them. So whether you're looking to get a job, whether you're looking to start a business, we want you to be able to have an easy transition into the cannabis ecosystem. We serve everyone, literally any and everyone. We specialize in folks who are looking to start businesses, and we specialize in folks who are looking to get into the cannabis workforce. So if any of these are interest to you, be sure to check out our events that we have coming up and some of the projects that we have in the works. So speaking of our initiative, last year we launched a cannabis workforce initiative. This year we're launching one around entrepreneurship and small business. But workforce in particular, we believe in an equitable and informed cannabis workforce. We believe that any and everyone who wants to work into this industry has a place. So we are committed to helping that goal. We're committed to pushing this initiative by making sure that folks who employ and that are employable are connected in this ecosystem. We've identified some pain points. If you are familiar with our particular model, you know that we are helping to bridge the gap between knowledge and access as it relates to the cannabis workforce. So you can learn more about that on our website. But let's go ahead and talk a bit about our ecosystem. We believe that there are 6 parts to the ecosystem. That is patients, professionals, businesses, industry, providers, and government. So if any and everyone falls in one of those sections, we believe that there is a place for you in the ecosystem. All right. If you're looking to figure out where your role is in the ecosystem, be sure to hit our website up. We've got a quiz that sorts you, a la Harry Potter style, in ways that get you connected to where you can land. So, that is all for our bit of a beginning and introduction. But let me start this presentation. I start every presentation with this particular quote. And your network is your net worth. You truly are the sum value of everyone that you spend your time with. So as you move forward, whether it's in entrepreneurship, small business, career planning, workforce in cannabis, remember the people who you surround yourself with. They initially will be the people who speak your names in rooms that you aren't even aware of. So that is that. Let's go ahead and jump into this presentation. Game plan in 2022. If you are looking for a cannabis career, this particular presentation is for you. Let's go ahead and start off with the brand of you. That is one of the first things that you need to get super clear about as you enter into this space. A lot of folks get jaded when they think about cannabis and they think about big dollars and they think about consumption all day long. Well, we've busted a bit of those myths over the last couple of months, but get really clear on where you want to start. If you're looking to, start in a cultivation space, if you're looking to jump into the processing space, be sure to get clear on how that starts with what you align with. And we'll talk more about that as the presentation goes along, but get clear about where you want to start in this industry. And I trust you can start anywhere you want. Trust and believe. So like I mentioned, we want you to bridge those goals and passions together. So if you like cooking, consider being a caregiver or, prepping for that adult use market, sharpen your skills up and, start making edibles if you happen to be a patient. If you like gardening, which I think this is crazy comparison, but if you like gardening, considering being a trimmer, if you like a job where you necessarily can just zone out and work out, anything in the harvesting space is perfect. Trimming, perfect. But all in all, be sure to pivot your skills. So if you're currently in a corporate job or you may work in HR or anything like that, there are ways for you to move those skill sets into the cannabis space. All right. So, of course, like I mentioned in the beginning, your network is your net worth. So, finding your crew, finding the people who are going to support you in this journey is super important. There are a few places you can really kind of show up and find your people, and that's through online communities, that's through user groups. You can also, tap into some virtual events, right? We host virtual events and workshops every month. If you go on Eventbrite or if you go on meetup.com, there are ways for you to find your people who are also looking for you. And also, of course, we've got the Explore Maryland Cannabis membership program. Our explorers crew, they also help power a lot of the projects that we do. And it's a great place to find folks who are looking to find community in the cannabis space. It's you versus the world. And I love when I'm able to present that aspect because one thing is for certain, cannabis is a truly new industry. So if you're looking for a way to kind of dip your toe in, now's a really great time to figure out how you can take over this cannabis world, this cannabis ecosystem, and really step into your career in 2022. Ways you can do that is you can absolutely stand out, right? There is a sea of candidates, there's a sea of folks who are really looking to get into this ecosystem. So, one of the ways that you can do that is by brushing up on your cannabis terms, right? So, we've got a list of some commonly used terms. If you're also looking to kind of get more information, we've got some resources for you on our website. But stay connected by understanding what the terms and how they're being used in this industry because knowledge is power and this industry is always forever evolving. So finding a way to stay connected, staying in tune with the terms is super important. Connecting and networking. So crafting your story, being able to separate yourself from the humdrum folks when you go to these networking events is super important, right? And right now we're in the midst of really being able to connect via online events, whether it's online and also in person. Folks, there's some folks doing in-person events as well. But being able to bring your full self, being able to tell your story at these events makes it a lot easier for one, you to find your people, two, for you to be able to stand out, and then three, to really kind of figure out where you want to be in this, cannabis space. Because I will tell you, the space is no different from where you currently are. If you currently are in the space, you can also use these tips to really kind of level up. If you're looking to maybe move in state or out of state within your position, maybe you work for a larger company, there are ways for you to kind of really build your network to push that message out. So here's the 5-step game plan that I love sharing for folks who are looking to really tap into the market. If you're looking to level up, if you're looking to get employed, if you're looking to kind of shore up your employability, these are these are five for sure tips to really kind of help you get your game plan in order. All right, so you ready? So, first things first is community education. We really want you to start where you are. Like I've mentioned throughout the presentation, cannabis is a truly new industry, new in the sense of business, but cannabis has been around for thousands of years. But the research hasn't. So, being able to stay on top of that sometimes can get pretty expensive. But if you tap into your community education platforms, those pathways that are really helping you connect to what's happening in cannabis, there are a lot of online resources like Green Flower Media. There are a lot of workshops and trainings that are held by industry leaders, especially in Maryland. We have a wealth of knowledge to really kind of help you stay on top of what's going on. Community forums, user groups. All that I ask is that before you go spouting out something that you've read online, be sure to do your research. You can ask a friend to ask a friend to ask a friend. You don't want to show up as somebody who knows it all and you don't know nothing at all. So be sure to ask questions, be sure to take in some of the, user generated information, but be sure to fact check. All right. Step number 2 is network. There are ways to really kind of build your network through networking, of course. Like I mentioned, folks are outside, literally. There are in-person events that are happening, but of course there are virtual events that are happening as well. Be sure to kind of tap into those things. Like I mentioned, we're in the month of March, right? April is our month, y'all, so folks will really be busting out ways to connect with community. So stay on top of it. Virtually, you can look in Hopin. That's a platform that has virtual events. You can also look at meetup.com. That is a old tried and true place to find your crew. And then of course, Eventbrite is an event aggregator place where folks can put their events. And if you just type in cannabis and you type in your locale, your city, your state, you'll be able to find out who the movers and shakers are and what they're hosting. Like I mentioned, staying up to date is the name of the game. I've listed some hashtags that we frequently use here to kind of stay on top of new product releases, new hires, transitions, opportunities for folks who are, looking to really kind of tap into the market. One thing about Maryland right now is that we are kind of knee deep in legislative session. So being able to track these hashtags when we're trying to figure out what adult use looks like in our state, what bills are being pushed, and also who is really interested in taking that to the next level really will set you apart in any situation, especially when it comes to your career. So jot these down, be sure to take note, and you can always follow us online to see what hashtags we're using, because typically we are really trying to aggregate the community and get them really situated around, what's happening in Maryland cannabis. Again, you got to mind your brand online. When I was growing up, one of the things that they always mentioned was you never want to say something that could be used against you in a court of law, but also you never want to say something that may end up on the front page of a newspaper. I grew up in a family where, the news was always on and the newspaper was always read. So I tried to be very particular to not offend, and also to not have anyone in my family roll up and say, "Hey, well, Keisha, you said this." I don't want to have to deal with those type of conversations. So making sure that you mind your brand online, making sure that you kind of really monitor what you say. And then also, one thing I don't think a lot of people realize is that we are living in a very digital heavy age. So we can get, a little bit of fatigue. I know I'm not the only one who had Zoom fatigue, still has Zoom fatigue. But there are ways to kind of combat the fatigue. You can avoid multitasking, right? Build in your breaks in your day. I use a method called the Pomodoro method, which allows me to work for a certain period of time and then break for a certain period of time. Ways to kind of break down those big tasks. So if you are on a 24-hour apply for a job, or pushing for a project or a license or reading regulations, take those breaks. I know I also can't be the only one with a million tabs. Tonight I only have 3 tabs up because I wanted to make sure that I set a proper example, but I usually have a bajillion tabs. Cut the tabs down. One, you're not going to go back to it. And then 2, you also don't want to burn your computer down, right? I know we're not in the age of dial up or any of the slower speeds, but you can definitely, conserve your energy use. Also, switching to, phone calls for ways of connecting versus, the Zoom or the video calls or even email. But I will say, when it comes, cut your screen time when it comes to email. So try phone calls, try meeting up safely in person. If it's warm enough for you to be able to step out and have a meeting in the park or for so, take a moment. Turn off your video, of course, if needed. Video drains on both ends, right? So turn it off if you need it. And then take a screen break. At the end of the day, if you are having constant migraines, if you're feeling the effects of being in front of a screen for a long period of time, take a break. And then, of course, there's nothing more than the power of you. There's nothing more than being authentically who you are. One of the things that people tell me all the time is that they are drawn to this organization because of how authentic I show up, right? And I'm working on showing up so much more authentic over the next couple of weeks. But, at the end of the day, if you don't like you, right, no one else is going to like you. So be sure to believe in who you are. Be sure to bring your authentic self to every situation. Don't offend, right? Don't offend, but be as authentic as you can, right? Because life is too short to be somebody else. Trust and believe. That is our presentation. I've got a few announcements wrapping up, but be sure to drop your questions if you have any questions. This is our schedule for the month of March. Today is our game plan, your cannabis career. We've got a few meetups coming up. Those are in person. And then, of course, our Rise to the Top boot camp. There are office hours. If you got questions about cannabis, if you got question about Maryland, if you got question about jobs, products, all of that, be sure to DM us, email us. We'll be answering those questions live tomorrow from 10 to 11 a.m. We've got our boot camp coming up. If you want a little bit more zhoosh about getting into the cannabis space, we go a bit in depth. This is a 90-minute workshop, and I'm super excited to present that to you. And like I mentioned in the beginning, we are super intentional about providing pathways to cannabis. So if you're looking for a way to get in, if you're looking for a way to really kind of step to the plate, we are here for you. All right. So I am going to go ahead and wrap up this presentation because my green screen is failing me. But I hope that you all are doing well. We are coming up just under 20 minutes. I'm super excited. Please stay tuned for more information that we have coming out of Explore Maryland Cannabis. It is Women's History Month. This week, we are spotting women-owned businesses. So if you are a business, if you know a business, if you happen to be a business, if you want to learn how to be a business, this is the week that we'll be talking about business. All right. So on that note, I hope that you all are, like I said, doing well. We will see you in our next event. All right. Peace.